Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Jason Bent, and in today's video, I'm gonna be refinishing the top on this walnut table. Now, some of you guys might remember this walnut table. I built this about 18 months ago, and I actually have a YouTube video on it, and I'll leave a link up in the corner now if you guys would like to check that video out. And I also have plans available for this on my website if you guys wanted to try to build something like this yourself. But the reason I'm refinishing the top on this table is because my son was nice enough to mark all over it quite some time ago with some Sharpie. And since really the only way I can think of to get rid of that is gonna be to sand this thing down and just apply some Rubio over it again, I figured this is gonna be a perfect opportunity to kind of let you get up close and see just how well the Rubio Monocoat has performed. This is definitely the oldest piece of furniture in my house that has Rubio Monocoat. I used Oil Plus 2C, the Pure, which is what I use on pretty much every single project I do at this point. To give you a little bit of context on this table, like I said before, I've had it for about 18 months. We used it for about 7 months, very, very heavily every day. This is actually the end that my son, who was not even 1 year old when I had built this, where we fed him, and then my wife and I would sit on the sides. So this end of the table was definitely the heaviest used. And then since moving to this house, we haven't used it a lot to eat on. However, we do put a lot of things on the table from here and there, so it gets quite a bit of use. It's just not getting a lot of eating use. Okay, so I haven't even wiped down the table yet, but I just wanted to kind of bring you in close so you guys can see. There again, that's the Sharpie that my son left on it. And then I mentioned this end down here has been the most used on this table. And this is where we're going to see right here. You can see there's some scratching, there's some lighter colored spots, and that was from a mistake on upkeep. I think at one point it was wiped down a couple of spots with a magic eraser, which obviously is going to do some damage to the finish. But then moving down this side. So overall, you can see that the table is in extremely, extremely good condition, and the wear was nowhere near what I was expecting. And the other reason why I'm refinishing the top is you can see there's a ding from when we moved, and then down here some scuff marks from when we moved it. So I will be sanding the edges and sanding the top, and then reapplying another coat of Rubio. So this should be a pretty simple process. What I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to try to sand this with 120, remove everything, and then reapply some Rubio. So if I see that 120 is really not cutting it, then maybe I'll drop down to 80 or 100 and then go back over it with 120. But it should be a really quick, simple process. Again, it's already in really good shape. I'm really just concerned about getting rid of this. Okay, so I've got this thing sanded down, got the edges sanded, got the top sanded, but I'm gonna vacuum off the top, then I'm gonna use the Rubio raw wood cleaner, wipe it down real good, let that dry, and then I'm just gonna apply another coat of Rubio, wipe off the excess, and we'll be done. Okay, so I've got everything cleaned up. It's wiped down with the Rubio raw wood cleaner. So now I'm just gonna let this dry, and then once this is dry, I'm gonna mix up my Rubio, apply another coat, wipe off the excess, and we're done. That's the end of the finished job. And I can tell you right now, just by looking at the raw wood cleaner, it's gonna look great. So while this is drying, I'm gonna take this opportunity to share a couple of the maintenance tips that we've learned over the past 18 months or so. And really the only thing that we did to make sure that this stayed looking really nice, minus the over scrubbing down on my son's end, was just using a rag with some warm water. And that's really the only way we ever cleaned it off. We never used any harsh chemicals or anything like that on the table. and it held up surprisingly well. So if you're one of those people that is wondering if Rubio is a good finish to use for something like this? I say yes, and I am a believer. We've left glasses, beer bottles, wine bottles, all of these things. I've done tests with regular glasses of water filled with ice, let that melt, let all the condensation fall down, and it's performed extremely, extremely well. And on top of that, it is extremely easy to repair. When my son used a Sharpie to do some art on the table, I'm just coming out here and you're seeing the process of me refinishing this. And I have no doubt in my mind that it is going to continue to look good and perform for us for a very long time to come. So I just wanted to share that because I am now a believer and I will continue to use this product on a lot of the things that I make moving forward. And I'm excited to try some other finishes out and kind of compare them. So once this is dry, I'll come back out here and we'll continue. So I do have a video that goes over how I apply Rubio Monocoat, but since you may have never seen that video and this may be the first video you're watching about the product, I'll go ahead and still walk through the steps in this video on how I go about applying it, and I'll also leave a link up in the corner if you guys do want to check that video out. But I will again be using Oil Plus 2C, which the color is pure, which means it just keeps the natural color of the wood. They do have multiple colors of this. And to mix this, it's a 3-to-1 mix. So 3 parts this, 1 part the hardener. I like to just use a cup like this, or maybe a blue solo cup. I use these syringes right here, and I just bought like a pack of 100 of these for like 20 bucks. I use one for the pure, I use one for the oil and one for the hardener, just so I don't mix anything. These are 10 milliliter syringes. When I go to apply it, I'll pour it on the surface, and then I will use this squeegee, since it's a flat surface, just to spread everything around. And then I will use this white non-abrasive pad to go ahead and buff it in. And then I'll just use a couple of these blue rags to wipe everything up. These don't leave any lint or anything like that behind, so I like using these. And since a little bit goes a long way, and this is a flat surface, I don't want to mix up a bunch and then have a lot of excess, so I'm going to see how much 40 milliliters is going to be of this. I think I'm going to go with 50 just to be safe. So now that I've got that in there, we're going to do our 1 part hardener, which means I need about 15 or 16 milliliters. Yeah, that'll be good. Once I got that in there, go ahead and set these off to the side, and you just mix this up, stir it up real good. All right, I think that's stirred up nice. Okay, so now for step 1, I'm going to pour it on, and I'm going to get to spreading. Like I said, a little bit goes a long way. This is way more than I needed. Right. All right, I do want to leave a little bit of excess because I'm going to use this after it's soaked to hit all of my edges. This is why having a little bit extra is actually kind of nice. It allows me to load the pad to make sure I can get all of the edges. All right, I got all my edges. Go ahead and start buffing it. I've got everything buffed in. Now I'm just going to wipe off all the excess, and anything larger than this or that took me longer than that, I would probably do in 2 sections, but I'm well within the time limit. This has only taken a few minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and get everything wiped down. So there you are. Refinished tabletop. With an hour of my time, I was able to refinish this table. So there's a couple of things that I want people to take away from this video. And the first, it's really, really, really easy to repair or fix or refinish. As I showed you in the video, not even an hour of work went into fixing this, and it looks absolutely fantastic now. And the other thing is that, I mean, it holds up really, really well. I know a lot of people have always been concerned, and I've been, curious myself, which is why I decided to choose the oldest piece of furniture in my house with the finish on it that I would say 50% of the time was heavily used. And to be honest with you, I was totally happy with it, and I could have probably just patched that one section, but for the video purposes, why not do the whole thing? So moving forward, I feel really comfortable continuing to use it on other projects. I am excited to try out some other finishes and do some comparisons towards this versus some other stuff and giving that some time and really seeing how it goes. But when it comes to Rubio, hands down, the most common question that I've always gotten is how does it hold up for something like a dining room table? Well, hopefully those questions are now answered and put your mind at ease a little bit. That's going to do it for this video, everybody. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch. I hope you found the information helpful. And if you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to leave them down in the comments section below, or go over to Instagram. You can send me a DM there at Bent's Woodworking, or you can head over to my website and fill out the form, which you will find at the top of my website. Until next time, get out in the shop, try something new, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.